Welcome. I'm just sort of hands. Hello. Very shadowy hands. Ooh, dramatic. Hello and welcome to a video where I want to show off my Elder Scrolls collection, as demonstrated here by the Anthology collection on PC. I really like this anthology. It's not just this, I've got other things, but you know, we're starting with this. So, yes, if we look at the outside, the Elder Scrolls Anthology. On the box, it's got the Imperial logo. So yes, if we take it out, lovely silver print there, which looks really pretty in this light, I've just realised. But yes, if we open it up, we have the first game, the Elder Scrolls Arena, and then that opens up with some lovely screenshots here, and then a disc containing Arena, which I can't get out. And yes, this is a lovely disc. I have all of these games on Steam and GOG, but I don't know why I own them twice. No, I do know why I own them twice, because I'm a fucking idiot, and I will buy them just so I can say I own them on multiple stores, because I'm an idiot. But yes, this lovely disc. I'm kind of very careful. Don't want to whoopsie, damage any of these. Got some lovely screenshots of Arena, and I might first put up some gameplay. So yes, the Elder Scrolls Arena is an interesting game. I'm going to probably play some. I'm probably got some gameplay up. Yes, it's a very interesting game, a very dated game, one I've never beaten. I'm going to go over which of these games I have and have not beaten as I talk about them with this anthology. I have not beaten the Elder Scrolls 1 Arena. I plan to. I'm currently just on the DLC for Oblivion Remastered, which, oh my god, that game revitalized my obsession with the Elder Scrolls. As you're going to see from how large my collection has grown, it has grown quite a bit recently. This I'll show you what's new, but this anthology I already owned from my last obsession on it, which is when Skyrim VR came out. But yes, Arena, great game that I haven't beaten and I intend to, but a very dated game. I've heard it gets very repetitive. I can't say too much because I haven't beaten it. Moving swiftly ever onwards, we have the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. According to some fans, the best game in the series. Now, I disagree with that, but I also haven't beaten Daggerfall. I've tried. I don't know how far. I've got I've got part of the way through there. It's not one of these games where with Arena, I'd only just gotten out of the bloody tutorial dungeon. But with Daggerfall, I'm going to put some gameplay up. With Daggerfall, I've got further. I haven't beaten the game, so I can't say how far I've got through it. But if I was to estimate, I would say a fourth or a fifth of the way through the main story. And then I got stuck on a dungeon with a necromancer in it, and that kind of saw that attempt end. But yes, if we move back to the collection and stop the gameplay, another wonderful presentation of the game disc. Now, as you can see, you've got the disc and more wonderful screenshots of the game. And once again, we have a lovely disc with the Underking and the logo. I really like the logo for the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. I love this style, this like really interesting style of text they have. But yes, that goes back in there. As snug as a rug in a bug. No, as snug as a bug in a rug. That's it. Then moving onwards again. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And I have beat this one. Here we go. I have beat Morrowind. Morrowind is a game that I have beaten. If we open this up, you'll see we have 2 discs. So far, we actually have more than 2 discs with Morrowind, because if I move around here, Morrowind continues, and we have the expansion discs. But we'll move back to this first one, just to have a look. And yes, some more wonderful screenshots. And Morrowind is my third favourite Elder Scrolls game, and that's saying a lot because I love it. Morrowind is a game that gives you a lot of freedom, gameplay. You can do just a lot with Morrowind, and I love that it just says, oh, you figured out how to break this system? Enjoy the benefits. It doesn't try to restrict you, it just lets you go free, and I love that. It's something that Skyrim doesn't allow you to do, and I think that's kind of very disappointing, and it's something the series has lost, and it's something I hope it gains back with the Elder Scrolls 6. But, you know, we will see. Like, at least let us make our own spells, you know? Why can we not make our own spells in Skyrim? Oh my god. But yes, Morrowind. Oh, such a good game. The discs on this one, they're nice. Just you've got, I've forgotten what town that is. Oh my god. It begins with V. I've forgotten the name of it. It's the one that's near, it's near the little valley that you cross to get into Balmora after you leave Seydanine. It's that town, but I've forgotten the name of it because I'm a noob apparently. Or it's not that town and I'm wrong. But yes, wonderful thing. And then this is the construction set, so if you want to make your own mods. I've never played this, and I love how it's the same area, but it's just the wire mesh to show this is how the game was made. It's how you can make stuff for the game. Such a beautiful use of artwork to show what the construction set is without any words. A picture is after all worth 1,000 words, and this is a wonderful use of them. So if we move over to the Morrowind expansions, and we have the 2 expansions, Tribunal and Blood Moon, and wonderful screenshots from both of these expansions. I've not played Tribunal. I've beaten Morrowind and I've beaten Blood Moon. I've not beaten Tribunal. I don't know why. Very similar layout on the disc. One of the wonderful towns from Tribunal, or town. I think when you go to one, I haven't actually played it, so I don't know. But wonderful artwork there. Wonderful picture of a Nord in Solstheim. Very cold, very Skyrim-y. I love that Blood Moon lets you sort of, it's very fitting that you go to Solstheim in both the game focused on the Skyrim province and the Vardenfell province, because it very much feels like a mix between Morrowind and Skyrim. It feels like a mix of them two cultures. And yes, Blood Moon I very much enjoyed, because I very much enjoyed going back to Solstheim in Skyrim. But moving on from Morrowind, we go to my favourite game in the Elder Scrolls series, Oblivion. And oh my god, am I enjoying the remaster right now. But even the original still holds up to this day. Like, to me it's very telling that they were able to just update the graphics and suddenly the game became, you know, new again. And oh my god, yes. So this is the Game of the Year edition of Oblivion, which comes with all of the DLC and expansions. We do not have separate discs for the expansions, however. They are just included in this Game of the Year edition. So we get a fewer discs, even though the game is bigger, which is interesting. I guess that's just kind of telling that it's a newer game, really. But yes, more wonderful screenshots. I do love Oblivion so much. If we look at these discs, for such a good game, they're so boring, because you just got disc 1, disc 2. For a game that is as good as Oblivion is, it's really disappointing that them discs are so boring. And then we move over to the currently newest numbered game in the series, Skyrim. Now this comes with a single disc, and I believe that's because when this came out, it's the Legendary Edition, this was just the base game. The DLC had not released at the time that this anthology was released. But some wonderful screenshots, and it is so, like, if you look at how far the graphics have come here and compare that to where we began, it's just night and day. It's honestly. But then after that, we've got this section which contains maps. I have a thing for maps. I collect maps of fictional worlds, so I love these. I'll move that over there. I have got these in order, so we've got Skyrim's map and then Arena's map, and I like to keep them in order. I'm not sure if this is going to be able to fit in this area, you know. I'll move these up here out of the recording area. We'll have a little bit more room, might we? Oh, that fits mostly there. So yeah, Arena is the only game in the series, besides the Elder Scrolls Online, although even the Elder Scrolls Online doesn't let you go to every region, but most of them. This is the most complete game ever released in the Elder Scrolls series. So we've got Cyrodiil, which we get to explore in Oblivion, and Oblivion Remastered, obviously. And then we've got Skyrim, obviously from Skyrim. Now, Morrowind, the game called Morrowind, doesn't let you go to the main area of Morrowind. It only lets you go to Vvardenfell. And also, there's a little island off here, which you go to in, I think it might be that island there, which you go to in ESO. It's a Bleakfall Isle. So yeah, we have explored these in other games. But yes, Vvardenfell from the Morrowind, well, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And then you've got, bloody hell, and then you've got Solstheim from both Blood Moon expansion for the Elder Scrolls 3 and the Dragonborn DLC for Skyrim. And then High Rock and Hammerfell, which you go to in the Elder Scrolls 2. And yeah, that's all the regions we've been to at the moment. You can do any of these in Arena. Obviously, they look a bit more dated and nothing like they do. Arena is an old game. You couldn't really do the graphics and all that. So yes, this is the High Rock and Hammerfall provinces, both of which you get to explore in Arena. And this is the map. Now, Iliac Bay, you've got these little islands. Now there's a little island somewhere around here. I don't think it's named on this map, but it's Stros Mackay. And you get to visit there in one of the Elder Scrolls spin-off games, and honestly, it's kind of underrated. It is a Tomb Raider rip-off. When Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 started to sell, like, you know, nobody's business on the PlayStation 1, Bethesda wanted a bit of that cake, and they made the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. I think it's Adventures. I think Legends is Battlespire and Adventures is Redguard. Very interesting. And it's set on one of these little islands around here. Stros Mackay. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to find out where it is, and then I'm going to digitally edit in a little circle around the island. So, Stros Mackay is here. Yeah. Power of editing. So yes, that's just a little thing I find interesting. You also go to Stros Mackay in ESO. Really interesting to explore it. Stros Mackay is a cool little island. I don't know why I really like Stros Mackay. I'm just nerding out about Stros Mackay. Fun fact about the lore. When Tiber Septim was conquering all of the provinces and making a united Tamriel for the first time in a very long time in Tamriel's history, he actually ended up not gaining complete control of Hammerfell because of events that happened in the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. It's called the Stros Mackay Accord, and basically it means that Hammerfall, although it is a part of the Empire, it gets to keep its independence. There was a similar deal struck with Morrowind because of the a deal made between Tiber Septim and the tribunal, the false gods. And yes, it's just very interesting history. Honestly, you're going to see how much I like the history when we get further into this. Haha, speaking of the tribunal and the false gods, here we have Vvardenfell. And if we look down here, is it on the... Nope, it's not. I'm going to have to move you up a bit. Can you see it now? Yes. Here is Vivec City, which is where one of the false gods, Vivec, you know, his ego is enough that he cannot zero sum, and therefore he obviously names his city after himself. I mean, you need to have an ego on you to not zero sum when you are faced with the godhead. So, just deep cut lore stuff there. If you understand, if you know, you know, you know. But yes, the map for Vvardenfell. Morrowind is such a good game. Honestly, I love Morrowind. I'm going to put some more gameplay up because I want to talk about it. If you look at... I'm going to find an area in Morrowind, and I'm going to just leave it on screen while I talk. But, it's colourless. So there was this trend that went through gaming during the 2000s, the noughties. I prefer to call them the noughties. It's a bit more fun of a name. But that went through gaming in the noughties, and everything was grey or brown. We just lost colour. Like, I don't know why. I guess everyone was a bit bleak and sullen after 9/11, which does make sense. But, oh my god, I miss the colour. And if we now move from this area in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind to the same area in the Elder Scrolls Online, oh my god, colour in its cheeks. Beautiful. And this is what I mean. Like, as much as I love Morrowind, one of the faults I have with it is it's such a just drab looking game. It's so brown and just colourless, basically. I do love it. It's one of the best games. I'd say probably the second best game. I'd say probably, if I was to rate the 5 games, it would go Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, and then I haven't played the other 2. But from what little I have played of them, Daggerfall Arena. Speaking of my favourite game, Oblivion, here we have the map for Cyrodiil. We have the Imperial City. So you break out of the Imperial City at the start of the game, and then you face that island. So when you leave the prison, you come out of a little sewer, which is just about here. I can be like a teacher, which is just about here. And you face this island here. Like a teacher, I can point. Ba, ba, ba. So yes, you start in the Imperial prison, you go through the sewers and the dungeons, and then you come out on the coast here, and you're facing that island. And what an introduction to a game. Just what an introduction. And then from there, yep, you've got all of Cyrodiil. I don't want to damage this map, so I need to be careful. All of Cyrodiil to explore. And something I love about Oblivion is, number one, it's got a bit more colour. Not as much as I would like. The remaster did add a lot more colour into its cheeks, and yes, I love that. But it had more colour than Morrowind, and I like that. But all of these towns, Shadenhall, Bruma, Coral, Skingrad, Kvatch, Anvil, Bravil, and Leowyn, they all feel very unique. And that's because Cyrodiil is in the middle of most of the provinces. You've got Hammerfall up here, Skyrim up here, Morrowind here, Blackmarsh here, Elsewind here, Elsewhere here, and Valenwood here. So you've got so many biomes just bordering this area, and all the other areas just border it. It's such a good region. I love Cyrodiil. And then last but not least, for the maps, we have Skyrim. Now this is my wife's favourite area because she likes ice biomes, and Skyrim is cold and bloody miserable. I mean, it is the north after all. But yes, Skyrim is, I kind of feel that the open world loses something compared to Oblivion's map, because it is mostly just, you've got a little bit of, different areas around the edges, but for the most part it is just snowy. And like, I like snow, but it'd be nice to have a bit of variety, but we don't really get that. And so I kind of think it loses something, but it is still a great map. There's so much to it. You can just, while it may not be the biggest in terms of like pure size, you really can just wander in any direction. Obviously, we start at Helgen and then we make our way out and we end up around here. So we start there, fight our way through all the caves and all that, and we come out around here. And then we go to Riverwood, obviously, and then we make our way down to Whiterun. But you can just head off in any direction. Just boop, find something, boop, find something, boop, find something. And there's so much history to it as well. I love that. I love the amount of history there is to Skyrim. To all of the Elder Scrolls, really, but Skyrim does it really well. Especially if you read the lore books and all that, which we'll get into. So yes, the Elder Scrolls Anthology. Lovely little box set. Now, I've realised that this has actually been going on for longer than I intended, so I'm going to split this up into 2 parts. We're going to look at the games today. We're going to look at maybe 3 parts actually, maybe more parts, who knows. We're going to look at games today, and we're going to look at books whenever I do the next video, because I'm not organised. So yes, we're going to go from looking at this, the Elder Scrolls Anthology, to this, The Elder Scrolls Morrowind, the sequel to Arena and Daggerfall. You know, in case you didn't know that. Now, this isn't actually a special edition of any kind. This is just the standard edition, and yet it's so beautiful. I miss when games used to really put in effort to their presentation. We can see here, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And if we open it up, wonderful screenshots here. Just so much effort in this presentation. I really do love it. An angry looking Imperial there. And yes, if we continue this, it folds out into this. We have the main game, and then we have the construction set. Same as the anthology did, but just different discs, you'll notice. Different designs on the discs. I like that the anthology is not just a reprint of these discs. They are actually different. I really like that. But yes, some wonderful discs with some wonderful art behind, where we just get to see a bit more of that sort of wire mesh drawing style behind the discs. And then behind you, more of the same. That continues onto the loading screens throughout Morrowind, if you remember. I shall put one up now. So yes, although on a modern computer you never really get to see them for long, which is I know this sounds weird, but it's just a shame you don't get to see the loading screens for long enough, because they got some really nice art on them. We have something of a lost art here, a manual. This just basically tells you how to play the game, because it's quite a complex game. And it just goes through everything. And it's in colour. Now, even back in the day, you knew you had a premium product when you opened the manual and it was in colour. Because most manuals were not in colour. They were just in black and white. But the Morrowind manual goes above and beyond. Because it is a premium product. And yes, we just get to see all of this information. As I say, it just goes through everything in depth. Such a good manual. Like, if you're having trouble with something, you can just consult this. So, back in the old days, because I'm old. Oh my god, I'm old. You didn't have the internet. Or you did, but it took 5 minutes to load onto it. And then you'd find what you were looking for. And your mum would scream up the stairs that she needs to make a phone call. So you had to turn it off. And then you just couldn't use it anymore. Because it took up the phone line. So basically, you didn't have the internet. And it cost a bloody fortune. I remember my mum having a go at me for how much the internet used to cost. But yes, so instead of Googling how to solve your problem, you would just look it up in the manual. And this is so good for that. It's so detailed and so clearly broken down with a lovely table of contents. So you can always find what you're looking for really easily. Really good manual here. And on the other side of the screenshots, we have a lovely actual picture of an Elder Scroll. Although, I'm not sure if it is meant to be an Elder Scroll or not. I assume it is because, you know, the Elder Scrolls. But we now know canonically they look a bit different than this. But a scroll nonetheless. So let's move from looking at Morrowind to Morrowind. Here we go. Morrowind on the Xbox. I think a lot of people forget that Morrowind came out on the Xbox, on the original Xbox, not the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One or the Xbox Series S or X. Just Xbox. Some people love this version of the game, and I can see why. Nostalgia is a powerful drug. I first played Morrowind on the PC after playing Oblivion and Skyrim. I went back to Morrowind, and as much as I love it, and I found a lot I love because I'm a retro gamer, I'm used to dated graphics, they don't bother me at all. The draw distance bothered me on this version, I'm so sorry, I can't. Oh my god, it's shockingly bad. You can't, it's like you're playing somebody with a cataract. That's what it's like. It's like you're role-playing your character having a bloody cataract. You can't see shit. Just gonna put a comparison up on the screen now. Just so you can see what I mean for how bloody blind you end up. It's just, I love it. I love the game. I can't. I've not beaten this version of it. I just can't. But yes, as you can see, night and day for draw distance. Even more when you put open Morrowind into the equation. Yeah, Morrowind. Great game. In my opinion, lackluster port. But anyway, let's have a look at it. Over on the back, compared to the back of the other version. It's almost identical with the exception of this barcode, some difference in the text. You don't have that fancy S. But mostly, here's an interesting thing that I forgot to mention on the original version. Published by Ubisoft, in PAL versions at least. You don't really think of the Elder Scrolls as an Ubisoft product, but it was at one point. If we then go to open this version up, once again you have a wonderful manual. It's in black and white this time. Like I said, you can tell this is, look, what did I say? You can tell you got a premium product when you got a colour manual, and here Bethesda obviously prioritized the PC version. But for information, all of the information is here, and it details itself well. Decent manual, shame it's not in colour. Let's get to the start of the show, shall we? This version of the game has the best map because it's in colour. It's so much easier to make out all of the different areas and what they're all like. I love that this is in colour. There's more colour in this bloody map than there is in the game, I tell you. But yes, such a lovely map. One thing I'll say is it feels very flimsy paper. It's got a couple of tears on this version, and I think it's because it is such thin paper. So I'm always very careful with it. I don't like keeping it out for long. I don't want it to get damaged, even though I do love it. Hence why I'm putting it away very quickly. And the disc here, interestingly, is the same version as we had in the anthology. It's got the town at the bottom fading into the thing. So yeah, that's an interesting little detail that I've not connected before. That is the same disc print, besides the Xbox at the top, as the anthology. So let's move on from Morrowind to the Oblivion Collector's Edition. I love this Collector's Edition. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a crease down here in mine. I got this pre-owned. Got it for a fantastic price. Really wish this spine was in bad condition. But it is what it is. There's also some sun damage to this. So somebody probably had this on their window at some point, and the sun just lightened the ink here. Which is such a shame because it's kind of, you can see what it's meant to be like here, and then here it's faded. If we open it up, first of all, we have a Daedra, one of Dagoth Ur's Daedra, fighting off with a Imperial soldier. So that's lovely. And if we continue to open it up, we have even more. We have a Making of Oblivion bonus content here. Really nice to get. Like, I miss all of this stuff that we used to get in collector's editions. And then you have the game itself. This is the collector's edition of the base game, so it doesn't include any of the expansions or DLC. But what it does include is this. Now this is the Pocket Guide to the Empire, and it's in Byrons. This is the 3rd edition. Is it the 3rd or 4th edition? 1 minute. Yes, this is the 3rd edition of the Pocket Guide to the Empire. Had to check that by reading a bit of the inside. And this is entirely in-universe. All of it is. There's no copyright or anything in here. This is all in-universe, and I love it. It's just basically a little book that people would carry around, and it would tell them a bit of history on their world, detailing all the stuff they would need to know. Bit of basic history on the Empire, and it's very propagandist. This is something I like. So this is written, obviously, it's a pocket guide to the Empire, and it is published and handed out by the 3rd Imperial Empire, Tiber Septim's Empire, the Septim Empire as it's known, by the time that Oblivion takes place at the end of the 3rd era. This is written from a biased point of view that the Empire would have. It looks more favourably upon its own history than the history of the areas it conquered. It's very interesting to read, knowing that it is a slightly unfaithful narrator. It's just a fascinating read, honestly. This is my favourite part of this entire collector's edition. I love it so much. Because it's so good to be able to read something from within that world, to get a better understanding of not just the world and the history, but how people feel about the world and the history from within that fictional world. It's amazing. Honestly, this book is worth this collector's edition on its own. This standout piece of... And then you've got a map. Now this map is less impressive than the other map for Morrowind. It is, I'm not going to open it up because this is exactly the same map as the one we looked at in the anthology. Again, I bought this pre-owned. I got it for a good price, and unfortunately that does mean the glue is starting to fail here. And that's a shame. I need to re-glue it, but I need to find out what glue they use because I don't want to use a different type of glue and end up messing it up. Now this is in colour, but it's sort of colorized to, as you can see from the green there, it's colorized to sort of look like, you know, themed a bit around that like old scroll sort of colour, but it is in colour. So another premium product and some merch, which I doubt you can buy anymore. From a similar thing as Morrowind, we're going to move on from Oblivion to Oblivion on the Xbox 360. The disc is not in here. The disc is in my Xbox because I was playing this. I wanted to jump back in. But yes, the 360 version is a decent version. It's not as good as the PC version. If it's all you've got, it'll do. It's better than the PS3 version, which I also have, but I'm not going to bother getting because it's identical. Although it will have the disc, because I've not played that recently, because it's the worst version. But yes, Oblivion, a great game. A mediocre port. And then the last thing we're going to be looking at today, the Skyrim. This is the premium edition, as it says there. Lovely. Very similar to the anthology. You can tell that these two products came out at the same time, because the design on them both is very similar. This is the PS3 version of the premium edition. PS3 version is even worse than the PS3 port of Oblivion. I would not recommend playing it, but still the premium edition is lovely. First of all, we have the game itself. Epic Fantasy Reborn. I don't know why it means reborn. This wasn't that long after. So Oblivion was 2006. This was 2011. That's 5 years. Don't get me wrong, it's a bit of a wait, but considering it's been like 15 years since this, 2000... Oh my god, I need to do math. Considering it's been 14 years since Skyrim came out, 5 years isn't that bad. Oh my god, it's been 14 years since Skyrim came out. Sorry, time just... Fucking Akatosh, the god of time, just slapped me in the face. And then we have the Infernal City. Fun fact, I've got another copy of this book, which we will look at in the next version. But I want this to be brand new in this, like, box set. I lied, I got it. Because this is the version I've read. And I just didn't want it to get worn out. And, like, you can see where these pages have started to age and they've yellowed a bit just over time. But this one is brand new. This one needs to be brand new. This is the one I read. I plan on rereading it soon. Very good book. I would recommend it. And then we've got the soundtrack. I'm going to edit that out because I just turned it around. And there's a code on the back, which I don't want you to be able to see. I think this is also the making of and stuff as well, if I remember right. And then we've got some lovely art cards. Bleakful Barrows. The shrine to Dagoth. No, not Dagoth. Mehru's Dagon. I got there. And then we've got the Dragonborn player character in Daedric armor facing off against a dragon. I don't think that is Alduin. And then in leather fur armor facing off against a troll. Such good art. I love the art on these. And then we've got Solstheim itself. Like, how beautiful is that? I love Solstheim in this game. And then back to Solitude. And then we've got a t-shirt, which I've never worn and I never will. And I've been trying to find a reproduction of this t-shirt so that I can wear it because it's really nice. I don't want to wear it because if I wear it, it gets all, you know, sweaty and gross. And even if I wash it, then it gets faded and I don't want that. A lovely t-shirt that I never have and probably never will wear. Fantastic game. Obviously, I have a bunch of different versions of Skyrim, but they are just different versions of the same thing. So, yes. I just thought we'd have a little look at the video game editions of this game I have. Also, I forgot to mention something. I keep it out of the box, but this Oblivion Collector's Edition came with a septim. It's a recreation of the currency from within the game. If I just hold this up here, Actually, if I move these apart, I can put it here. And then what I'll do is I shall put an image from the game next to it so you can compare. And yes, I love these. I love these. I've got more in this collection. Obviously, I own all of these games on every platform they've come out on, so I own them. I own them physically where possible because, can you tell I like collecting? But yeah, I love the Elder Scrolls. I do plan on doing another part. I'm going to show off the books I've got. So we will have a closer look at the Greg Key's books, but also the lore books, because they're very interesting. Honestly, they are. They're fascinating, and the artwork in them is beautiful. So I can't wait to show them off. But I just thought I'd show these off. So yeah, I just wanted to show off my collections a bit. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, basically, I love this shit. Thank you for watching. And, you know, ta-ra, goodbye, see you later, bye.